Hello, my little degenerates. Welcome. It's your boy, Mr. Degenerate, back at again for another damn video. And oh my goodness, I ain't wanna have to do it to you, Jeff. I ain't wanna have to do it to you. But we gotta talk about that fucking Summer Games Fest, or should I call it the Summer Snooze Fest? Because holy fuck. I don't know what the fuck that was. What was that? At first I was gonna let it slide. Because I said to myself, well, at least I came in with the right expectations. And I already kind of knew it wasn't gonna be all that interesting. However, after having a conversation with a few of my friends and hearing their opinions on it and kind of exposing kind of my mindset compared to theirs, how they operate compared to me when it comes on to hype culture, I gotta speak up about this shit, which I was already gonna do that, but this Summer Game Fest was a snores fest. Was a complete snores fest. And don't get me wrong, do not get me wrong. I have nothing but love for Jeff Killian. This is why I'm being nice. I'm not even gonna say it was fucking trash or whatever. I'm being nice. This is the nicest you're gonna get from me. I have a lot of respect for Jeff Killian because I've seen this man really taking the shit of a lot of bullshit over the years, when all he's ever wanted was to make games, make sure that video games got the recognition they always deserved, and he's had to take a lot of shit to get where he's at now, but to see how far he's come and see how far the Game Award show, the Game of the Year award show, and everything has come, like, I'm so proud of him. That being said, this Summer Game Fest is not it, Chief. And this is only, I believe, year 2 of it. And we really need to step it up because this shit is not enough. And I don't know. I at first I didn't know what was the problem with the game. What was the problem with this event? But I think what really made me sit there and say I have a problem with this event, especially this year, was this event has no identity. And if you're doing an event, you always have to have some type of identity. And I just don't see that the Summer Game Fest has an identity. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. You know, you look at something like Nintendo Direct. Nintendo Direct has an identity. You know, whether you agree or disagree, or you say that Nintendo games are baby and whatnot, or like how the fuck can people purchase these fucking lame ass graphical downgraded games? At least they're catered to Nintendo fans, and Nintendo fans know what they're expecting when they watch a Nintendo Direct. You know, it has a very different style than everything else. You know, you go to a Sony event is made for Sony fans. You know, you go to digital, Devolver Digital event, that one has like really funny sketches, or has a theme sketch for that year, and it's funny, it's silly, but they show you the games, and the games are brand new games you didn't hear about. You know, again, you look at something like Xbox events, or, you know, say what you want, but they have games, you just don't know when you're fucking gonna get them. But you see my point I'm trying to make with these events. Like, they all have identity, and at least when it comes on to Nintendo in particular, they always give you up to dates on what exactly you're going to be seeing. Either they're going to say like, oh, this is going to be this event, we're going to focus on first party, or we're going to have an indie showcase, or we're going to have things. With the Summer Game Fest, This shit didn't do any of that. It's just like, here's a bunch of games that we already fucking knew were coming out. And it's like, It's like, why why are we doing this? Like, and at first I can get it. Jeff came out on Twitter and it's like, oh, temper expectations. It's not gonna give you exactly what you want. So I already came in with the idea that I wasn't gonna see anything big, and a few of my friends got on me for that. And I gotta say, like, my mindset works differently than everybody. I like to be go into things with low expectations, and then be completely shocked when I see something. It is kind of like I think that's why I enjoyed that last Sony event, because I came in there not knowing anything. Also because they've been fucking up with these events so much, and I've been very vocal about how much Sony's been fucking up with the state of plays. So for them to finally come out with a state of play that was actually good, and the games that they showed off, I was actually genuinely shocked. Like Resident Evil 4, I didn't know it was coming, and finally saw a gameplay of Street Fighter 6 was so impressive that I was just like, whoa. Like, I was amazed. And for me, when I look at these Summer Game Fests, I don't see an identity. And he could sit there and say, well, temporary expectations, and that's fine. Go into your event with low expectations. But when there's games we already knew that was coming and you have nothing new to show, what the fuck is the point of sitting down for an hour-long event? And that's another thing. This event is too long. It's too long. It's like an hour and some change. Cut it short, bro. Like, you don't need an hour-long event to announce games that we already fucking knew. It's like, this is ridiculous. And then it doesn't even help that a lot of the games that they showed off blended together. So they showed off a perfect example. They showed off Callisto Protocol. They showed a new trailer, or the same trailer but more graphic gameplay. And I was like, this is fucking cool. But then after that, they showed and they announced Space Game with Troy Baker and the guy who does the voice for in Red Dead, the main character of Red Dead Redemption. And I'm like, that looks exactly like Callisto Protocol. In fact, I feel bad for that team that's working on that indie game with those guys I just mentioned. I feel bad for them because Callisto Protocol looks fucking amazing. But it all blends together. Not only that, but you have Aliens, a new Aliens game, Aliens Dark Descent. That is in space. So there's too many games that are clashing with one another. And they don't even get me started on the ending. You literally had fucking Last of Us popped up. And I'm like, how is any indie developer gonna challenge that? Like, it's stuff like that in the events that doesn't make sense. And then to go back to what I mean by identity, it doesn't have an identity. At least with, with the Game of the Year event, the Jeff Keighley's Game of the Year video. At least with that, that is a celebration of the year of video games, the years of the games that came out. And, they have music for the songs of the games that came out that year. They have, awards given out to, content creators and whatnot. And at least that has an identity. And then they show off new games that's coming in the future. With this, I don't get the sense. It feels like it's all over the place. And I don't feel like indie games are getting enough love. And I don't feel like these other games that they were showing off got a lot of love. Like, again, Callisto Protocol looks cool, but that could have been shown at the state of play. That gameplay could have been shown at state of play. It was so short, even though that death scene was. I saw that, I instantly cringed when I saw that death scene, I was like, oh, that looks painful. But again, it's stuff like that. It's like, what? It's just like, it suffers from a huge, it doesn't have an identity, and it really needs to get an identity. Because I barely remembered any of the games. Then you have like a 3 to 5 hour long Call of Duty 2. Like, who cares about Call of Duty? I'm like, okay, I guess people still care about Call of Duty. That's great and all, but Call of Duty's selling less and less. Yes, it's making bread, but it's selling less and less. Like, I don't think people's like really like Call of Duty. Yeah. I don't know. Like, that was not the place to show off a 2 hour long trailer for Call of Duty. Gameplay of all these, like, it's Call of Duty. What more are you gonna show us about a Call of Duty game? I don't know. Like, this event was just questionable, you know. And again, don't get me wrong, there were some highlights. Like, I am now completely interested in Midnight Sun, that Marvel card game made by the XCOM people. Like, I'm kind of interested in that now that they showed off Spider-Man, and he's being voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, the guy who does the voice for Spider-Man in the Spider-Man PS4. So I'm kind of interested in that. I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of gonna get into that, even though I think Spider-Man's outfit in that sucks so bad. Although, little geeky stuff, like, I do like how his eyelids are kind of like, for that costume in particular, it looks like it has like 3 eyes, almost like a actual spider eyes. So that's kind of cool. I like that. But besides that, like, and Venom's in the game, so that's kind of cool. Besides that stuff, all the other games they announced, like, what? Fucking, what else games did they announce in this shit? They showed off more TMNT game. Casey Jones is supposed to be a playable character now. I'm looking forward to that. Again, these games we already knew that were coming, so it was like, what the fuck? There's nothing they showed that were like, oh wow, we didn't know this was coming, and that was kind of cool. And they were probably games, but I felt like they got so destroyed by the big hitters that I barely remembered any of those games. And then, again, to top it all off, you literally had Neil Druckmann, the mastermind, the villain himself, pull up to the event and started talking about Last of Us. I'm like, oh no. And I'm just like, bro, are you for real? This man literally came in there and stole the whole show by just talking about Last of Us. And I'm just like, what? And he's talking about Last of Us, and he's like, oh, we're still working on the multiplayer, and it's going to be the biggest multiplayer we've ever done. And I'm just like, okay, Mr. Juckman, all right, I'm tired of you talking about the fucking multiplayer. Can you at least just show us gameplay of the multiplayer? And he's like, oh, you're not gonna see anything until next year. I'm like, okay, so what's the point of you being here, Chief? With your buff self, with you looking like Lex Luthor. He's the true Lex Luthor of Naughty Dog. I swear to God. I love Neil Druckmann, but he is interesting man, I should say. But just came up on the stage and was like, we have the Last of Us show. And I'm just like, okay, you're gonna show a trailer of the Last of Us show? No, here's a picture of Pedro Pascal and the actress playing Ellie. Here you go. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, oh, well, Last of Us 2, Part 2 sold 10 million copies. And I'm like, okay, how about some games? And then he's like, oh, by the way, Last of Us HBO show is gonna have Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker, the voices of Ellie and Joy, in big roles. I'm like, that's cool. By the way, Ashley Johnson looks so pretty on screen. But besides that, I'm just like, okay. I'm like, that's interesting. I don't know if I personally care enough to watch the show, but that's cool that they got them. That almost reminded me of spoilers for Uncharted, the show. I mean, Uncharted the movie. There is Nolan North is in the movie. He makes a guest cameo, a cameo appearance in the movie, which is a cool cameo. I won't lie, it was a nice cameo. And he's the voice of Nathan Drake's in the game, and that was a funny little cool cameo he made. But I was just like, okay, that's great that Ashley and Troy is gonna be in the game, but okay. And then Neil Druckmann's like, by the way, I directed an episode of the fucking show. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then he ends it off by talking about Last of Us 1 or Last of Us Remastered. Now listen, guys, I can't tell y'all what to do with y'all money. All right? Do I think Last of Us 1 needed a remake? Fuck no. In fact, I would say if there's any game that I personally would have loved to see a remake over Last of Us Part 1, it would personally be Jak and Daxter. I love Jak and Daxter. It's one of my favorite PlayStation platform games. So to see that being remade in the new engine that they use for Last of Us Part 2 would have been fucking incredible. That's what I would have personally wanted. Or if not, give us Crash Bandicoot. I think a remaster of Crash Bandicoot would be dope. Or if they want to go the cheap and like really safe spot, I would have done Uncharted 1, because I don't know if anyone's played Uncharted 1. Uncharted 1's gameplay is dated as fuck. But so those are the games I would have chose over Last of Us Part 2. Last of Us Remastered still looks amazing. You can actually get it for free if you own a PS5, and because it's on the PlayStation collection. If you own a PS5, it comes free with your subscription. Plus, the game is cheap on the PS5. Plus, it comes with Factions, the multiplayer. So, would I recommend this game for $70? No. However, I will be buying the game for $70. Why? It's coming for PC. Now, if anybody knows me, I've been very vocal about PlayStation putting their games on PC. I want all their games to come on the PC. I want all Xbox games to come to PC. Hell, I want all Nintendo games to come to the PC. So if I hear a game is coming to the PC, I'm instantly copying it. I do not give a flying. And also, Last of Us Part 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. I've said this numerous times. I love that game. So rebuying it for the PC is fine. Will I be paying full price? If I have to, no. But I know ways to get it for cheaper. But that's if you console peasants are willing to actually get onto the PC. You can notice that games are really cheaper on the PC. But I digress. I don't think the game is worth $70, but I also understand why they're doing it. The game actually looks different, and from what I'm gathering, it's gonna play like Last of Us Part 2. And if anybody knows me, I love Last of Us Part 1. And I think they're doing it also because they know the TV show is on the way. So it's kind of like, you know, you're gonna have people that's gonna be like, oh, the shiny new graphics is there. Oh, la la la, the shiny new graphics. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. But it does look significantly different, and even like some of the facial expressions when characters are talking to one another look extremely different. Like, it's almost like they redid those scenes. And Neil Druckmann did say like some of those scenes were, they actually took the facial models from the actors when they did the scenes and redid them onto the characters. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But at the same time, I'm just like, bro, are you for real? I'm like, you don't need to make this. But at the end of the day, it's gonna sell already. I already checked out the website. This shit is already sold out. The Firefly edition for $100 is already sold out. So, you know, say whatever you want about Nintendo fans, about them being like fucking suckers, but PlayStation fans are just as bad. I'm part of the problem too because I'm buying the PC edition, so I don't give a fuck. At least I'm honest about my shit. So I'm not even gonna hate on. I'm not gonna hate on anybody. But all I gotta say is that, you know, was that worth sitting down to hear shit that we already knew? Because we already knew The Last of Us shit was coming, the factions was coming, the show was coming, and the remake was coming. Not really. Like, you didn't need to watch this show to figure all of that out. And again, I don't feel like I got enough time to spend with any of the indie games to really get to know any of them. And yeah, I don't know. This event was just pretty trash. I think the only really dope part was Callisto Protocol and seeing Guile looking badass in fucking Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6, by the way, is looking fucking hot. So we definitely gonna talk about Street Fighter 6. But overall, I think my main point I'm trying to make with this video, and I'm sorry it went on so long, but the main point I'm trying to make is that if Jeff Keighley wants this event to be something big and grand like the Game Awards show, he really needs to find out what this event is going to be. Either fully commit to it being a game show about indie games, or have it be a game show that shows off games that have not been announced, or better yet, just shorten the fucking show. Like I would rather see some of these games get way better spotlight somewhere else, because a lot of these games did not, and I didn't feel like I got to know any of these games. So Jeff, if you watch this video, which I know you're not, but if you do watch this video, step your game up, bro. This shit is whack. It needs work. It needs more love and attention. And I know you can do it, because you work your ass off for the game, for the Game Awards show. So Game of the Year Award show. So make it work, bro. Get to it. Anywho, that's enough for my little rant. I'm gonna end it here. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Comment in the section. Let me know what you thought. And as always, stay safe, everyone. I'm out. Peace.